Today on our /malicious compliance, I want to speak to a man. When I was 17, I got a job as a pharmacy assistant. Saturdays were always the worst days, and that was my regular scheduled shift. There were only 2 of us in the pharmacy on Saturdays, me and the pharmacist. We were constantly overworked. While the pharmacist was doing dispensing methadone, I would be alone and have to enter and fill prescriptions, plus assist people at the cash register. All of the pharmacists in our store, plus the owner, were male. That was until our first female pharmacist was hired on. One Saturday we were working days together. This was her first Saturday on. She was absolutely lovely and she would help me out as much as she could. She was genuinely shocked to see how busy and short-staffed we were. I was sitting at one of the computers entering prescriptions and an older gentleman came up to me. He was holding a pill in his hand and he was confused as to why we had given him a different medication. That week, the manufacturer had taken off the printed number 10 on the pill. Now it was just a plain yellow pill. I explained this to the gentleman, and I showed him the bottle the pills came in. I explained he was still taking the same medication and all of the pills looked the same, they just didn't have a printed number on them. The gentleman became very agitated with me and told me I was a stupid little girl, and I didn't know what I was talking about. He demanded to speak to the pharmacist. I complied, and I paged the pharmacist. When she came around the corner, white coat and all, the man became enraged. No, I want to speak to the pharmacist. The conversation went something like this. Sir, she is the pharmacist. No, I don't want that pharmacist. Sir, she is our only pharmacist right now. I want to speak to a man. The pharmacist tried explaining to the man the same thing that I had explained to him. He told us straight to our faces that we had no clue what we were talking about. He stormed out of the store and said he would be calling back later to talk to a man. This story is slightly lighthearted because the medication in question was just a heartburn pill. I could only imagine how bad things could have gone if this was any other medication. What's the craziest thing an ex-friend/lover has done to you? Got mail delivered to my house when she found out I was going to break up with her. Then wouldn't leave when I did break up with her. I called the police and since she received mail at my house they said it was officially her residence as well. I had to call my landlord and have him evict me to get her to leave. Once she left he rescinded the eviction notice and I moved back in. Found out my long-distant boyfriend of 3 years got married and had a baby while we were together. He was in my town every weekend. It was nuts. Had a girlfriend edit old Facebook Messenger timestamps to make it look like I was cheating on my new girlfriend. Would like to say that my taste got better but I got stabbed after that by an ex. Serious scientists of Reddit, what's something you suspect is true in your field of study but you don't have enough evidence to prove it yet? I'm not sure if this really fits but, intergenerational trauma. We know that physical and psychological stress in one generation, whether it be war, rape, genocide, alcoholism, drug use, growing up in the system, I could go on forever, can pass on to the next generation. But, we don't really know how. Heritable epigenomic changes has been the first proposal. But no one has done this specific research. My supervisor demonstrated a change in mitochondrial DNA copy number, resulting in epigenomic changes in regions of the genome associated with disease. Epigenomic changes mean that the expression of the underlying genes can be altered. This can result in disease. Usually as a result of intergenerational trauma, people suffer more health repercussions, and no one could really explain why. I want to explain why on the genetic level. I think I'm on the right path and I'm excited. Today on our /malicious compliance at-will employment cuts both ways, sister. A few years ago, my husband was laid off at the start of summer. I had a part-time gig as a teacher, but it didn't come with benefits. I had to take a job, any job, to provide health insurance, Merca, while hubby looked for a new gig. I got a job as a teller at a bank. I tried, but was new to keeping a till, so a few times a week, my register wouldn't balance. Never very much money, under a few dollars. But the whole staff had to stay late until we straightened it out. I felt horrible for the rest of the staff. As if that shame wasn't bad enough, my supervisor, Mel, would remind me that I worked at will and they could fire me at any time. Our family's health insurance going up in smoke was terrifying to me. Sometimes it was hard to hold back tears. I got better as the summer went on, but every few weeks, if I would make a mistake, Mel would smile as she warned me that, you can be fired for no cause and you'd have to leave immediately. It was so fantastically over the top. At one point, I pointed out that constant threats didn't create a healthy environment. Her smile only broadened. It goes both ways. You can quit at any time, you know. When the school year started in the fall, I needed to take my daughter to tour a new school for her first day. I asked to take my lunch in the afternoon so I could help my daughter. Though they approved it, when it came time for my lunch, they insisted I work through my lunch because they were being slammed. By then, Hubs had found a job with insurance and, even better, I'd been offered more hours teaching, though still not full-time. It was enough. The next day I practically floated into the bank. I waited until 10 a.m., then told Mel I needed to talk with her. She replied that she was very busy and it would have to wait until after we closed. "Oh, I won't be here then," I said. She looked like I'd smacked her with a brick. "What?" I smiled. "Remember that I needed to bring my daughter to her new school yesterday. You wouldn't let me do that, so I'm doing it this afternoon." She didn't get it at all. "You can't just take an hour off when you," I had to interrupt. "I'm not taking an hour off. I'm leaving. For good. At noon. You kept reminding me that I work at will. Thanks for those reminders. I'm leaving for good in 2 hours." While Mel fumed, I waited on customers. I practically sang my greetings to them and was so fucking cheerful, customers kept asking me why I was so happy. Smiley face. I was delighted to tell them, because I'm leaving forever at noon. After a half hour of that, Mel thought I should just go right away. And I did. I fucking skipped right out the door, then gave Mel a very elaborate curtsy at the door. Smiley face. Today on r/AskReddit, TreeBear1 asks, "You are gifted unlimited French fries but are only allowed one condiment or topping, what is yours?" USA Barry says salt. That's all I need on my fries. Rar IMA Giraffe says garlic aioli. Lady Rhea commemorates him by stating this guy hex. Earthchan says Wendy's Frosty Bro. Today on r/dad jokes, my 4-year-old was taking her sweet time getting ready for bed and I said to her, "Quit stallin'." She said to me, "I'm not stallin'." And I replied, "Well, you might be right about that because you're certainly not Russian." I got nothing, no laughs, even after I thoroughly explained it to her. My daughter has no sense of humor. Today on r/petty revenge, I got my coworker fired. In college, I worked at a restaurant with a guy we'll call Joe, not his real name. His fiancée also worked there. She was annoying but not nearly as bad as Joe. Joe was a tool bag, but one day he made fun of a new host that had just been hired by calling him a faggot when we were in the back of the kitchen rolling silverware, not near any customers. This wasn't the first time he said something like this, but it just set me over the edge that particular day. Customers would often leave their itemized receipts at the table when they'd leave. I noticed that there was one in Joe's section left by one of his customers, so I grabbed and took it home with me. I used the receipt number to file a complaint on the corporate website and said that I was a customer and I overheard my server Joe call another employee a fag *T and I was really offended and made up a story about having a gay son and how I'd never visit there again. My best hope was that he'd get in trouble and get his schedule changed. He had one of the best server schedules. This was in 2010, by the way. I forgot all about it and a few days later I came in, and his fiancée was crying hysterically and said, "Well, obviously I have to quit now too." I asked what was going on and found out that the company has a zero-tolerance policy for that and he got fired immediately, and his fiancée quit. Joe was pissed and never denied it, but said he swore he said that in the back of the house and not in front of guests, and swore he was kidding around. I couldn't believe I actually got him fired, so it turned out even better than I had hoped and I still have no regrets. He was my friend on Facebook before this and we're still friends to this day on Facebook, but never speak to each other and he still doesn't know it was me. Messy guest trashed their room. I sent evidence of their messy lies home with them. Hey, today I did something out of nothing but pettiness, but I feel I've done the right thing in the long run. Don't get me wrong, this was done purely for my own satisfaction, but reflecting I feel I'd want to know this sort of thing if I was in guest GFS shoes. I recently started a new job as a housekeeper at a popular chain hotel and while I'm enjoying it the vomit rooms from stag dose etc. really irritate me. They always somehow manage to get it on the only carpeted area of the room and it puts me behind schedule having to scrub at the carpet. This one room today really took it to the next level, rubbish scattered about, food jammed down the sides of the bed as well as vomit patches all over the room. It took a while to get through all the mess, but toward the end of clearing I found a birthday card addressed to the guest on the floor. The card was open and read, "Happy birthday, guest, I love you so much. Have a great birthday weekend away, I'm going to miss you so much, love Beth." I picked up the card to bin it, and when I closed it I saw the front read, "To my amazing boyfriend on his birthday." My eyebrows immediately raised. I had just picked up multiple condom wrappers, seen the used ones in the bin, as well as finding a pair of used women's underwear and a torn dress in the sheets. I was originally going to throw the dress and underwear away as they were both clearly torn beyond wear, and the guest had most likely intended for me to do that, but damn, I was mad about that vomit and crusty food. This poor girl has been cheated on by a man who trashed the hotel room, but luckily for her he pissed me off. I took the torn dress and underwear down to reception and logged them into our lost and found with the room number attached. Our system always sends a copy of lost item emails to the emergency contact as well, just in case the guest misses the email. The cheater and his emergency contact will soon receive a friendly email with a photograph of the forgotten items and a description of what they are and where they were found in the room. Who is his emergency contact? His GF, Beth, smiley face. If you're gonna cheat on your S/O, don't piss off the housekeeper. Today on our /confessions, girls on OnlyFans are not actually talking to you, we were. I was working for a company, out of many like this, dedicated to entirely manage OnlyFans accounts for girls. Basically, these girls never did anything else than just taking the pictures and videos for us. 80% of workers were guys, 20% were girls, but it's all fake. Even when you think that the person is real and is actually talking to you, she is not. Even when the account is verified, it could be fake. I feel bad because I talked to many guys who fell in love for a girl who doesn't even know they exist, and we had to take as much money as we could from everyone. That was the goal. We were so good at it that our standards were $700,1000 USD per day with each account, and each worker had to manage 6 accounts, so imagine the amount of money we made monthly. So my advice, only pay OnlyFans girls when they give you a live proof that they are real, like making a specific gesture with their hand on a selfie. Don't trust videos where they say they are real, don't trust audios, don't trust pictures that seem taken at the same time. Or just watch porn. Also, it's a PPV site and therefore it's just a business, so don't be the guy who just wants free content. It's annoying AF, real or not, smiley face. You can ask me anything if you want. I let one student punch another student. I used to teach middle school before becoming a college professor. In middle school, teachers are used to dealing with asshole students, especially the 8th graders. This one kid, Adam, took the cake. Both his parents were also teachers, and Adam was incredibly smart and charming. He's the kid who could be a pharmacist but would rather be a drug dealer because it's more interesting. Adam got into trouble for bullying one of my 6th graders, Nick. Nick was the nicest kid ever. Had serious family issues like domestic violence, alcoholism, etc. CPS and the police were familiar with his whole family. Adam was pretty much told to fuck off with Nick. Adam said he felt really bad about bullying him because he didn't know Nick had family issues. A few weeks later, I see Adam being chased by Nick's older brother, also an 8th grader, at lunch. I just thought, here we go. Nick's older brother grabbed Adam by the shirt and pulled his fist back. He did not want to hit him. Probably had seen his mom get punched enough, but violence is sometimes the answer. When I got between them, Adam started taunting the older brother like a bitch now that an adult was there to break it up. I guess Adam had done something to Nick at lunch that made him cry. I should have pulled the brother's hand off Adam, escorted one to the office, notified the principal and yelled at the security for being missing in action. Instead, I waited until the brother punched Adam. Nick's brother looked at me because he wasn't sure why I didn't separate them. He was confused. I just nodded at him and shifted my eyes at Adam. Pop. After Adam got his, in front of his friends too, his older brother went back to a table where other kids treated him like a rock star. I took Adam to the office crying. The last thing I said to him was that I hoped he learned from this. Last I heard, Adam is running around with the wrong crowd and Nick and his brother are in college. What is a useless fact that you know? Facetious has all of the vowels of the English alphabet and they're in order. And sometimes, facetiously. Kangaroos can't jump backwards. Rats generally have no musical preference, but on cocaine they like jazz. Rats have a behavior called popcorning, when they can't contain their excitement so they jump in place and hop around. It's probably all the cocaine and jazz.